Okay, here we go.
Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So once again, thank you everybody for joining us this morning for our March general meeting. We appreciate your understanding with us having to move it from last week, every third Friday due to all of our spring breaks, and different districts have different spring breaks. So we wanted to accommodate everybody and get everybody back on board. So we moved it to the last Friday of the month. So we thank you again for being with us today and appreciate you being here. So first and foremost, I just want to introduce myself for those who may not know who I am. Nawa Kwahat, Hatso and Toya, Goigu Mase Chawi and Da, Kimberly Denka Khan. Good morning, my name is Kimberly Denka Bigay. I am of the Kiowa, Caddo, and Pawnee Nations, originally from Oklahoma. I serve as the Native American Education Coordinator for Amphitheater Public Schools here in Tucson, Arizona, and I currently sit as the president for AIEA. Before we move any further, I would like to give a land acknowledgement just in respect to our the lands upon who we are visiting today. So if you'll just bear with me just a few moments and allow me to read this statement. Beneath the contemporary surface of any site in the United States, there are histories of belonging that have been erased, overlooked, contested, and forgotten, all ways to support ideas like manifest destiny, which justified the conquest of native lands between 1776 and 1887. The United States seized over 1.5 billion acres from America's indigenous people by treaty and executive order. There are currently 574 sovereign tribal nations, variously called tribes, nations, bands, pueblos, communities, and native villages that have a formal nation-to-nation relationship with the US government. There were 334 federally and state recognized American Indian reservations within the US in 2010. These 574 tribal nations are located across 35 states within the geographical borders of the United States. Even within the US borders, each tribal nation exercises its own sovereignty. Each of the 574 tribal governments is legally defined as a federally recognized tribal nation. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who have contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment in time. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. Today, we acknowledge the ancestral lands of the Acamel Otham and the Peepush people upon which our AIEA headquarters stands. I also acknowledge the homelands of the Tahana Otham and the Pasquayaki, the Wayme people upon which I currently am. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that brings us here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events. Thank you for your patience and allowing me to read the statement on behalf of AIEA. We always try to do this at all of our public events and activities we hold. So with that, we will go into our introductions, and I would like our executive board members to introduce themselves. We'll start with our Vice President, Esther, and then we'll go down the list. So Esther.
Thank you, Kim. Chikedo Shidame'e, She'e Torit Nishla, Bilagana Bashachin, Ashihi Dashi Che, Bilagana Dashanali, She'e Esther Nystrom, Yanisha. Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me be here today. My name is Esther Nystrom. I am the Vice President for the AIEA Association. I am also the Program Specialist for the Native American Education Program with Mesa Public Schools. And thank you for being here today and taking the time to be with us to share in what's going on in Indian education country. Akihat. I believe next up is Lynann.
Hi, she Lynann Yanez. Go ahead, Lynann Yanez. My dish gives me bashes chin. Tana Zani Che dog here on a dish another inlet. You see that Nasha. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Lynann Yazi. I work with Phoenix Union High School District as a Native American specialist, and I'm also the co-secretary for AIEA. So welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, officers. And we are just going to go down the list. I'll go down the participants that I see here. First up, we have Carrie Ann.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hello. Hi, yes, I'm Carrie Andy. I work here at Chandler Gilbert Community College, and this is actually my first meeting since I'm helping to cover for Lambert Yazzie, who was originally designated, but yeah, just helping out today. And I work with the Hoop of Learning program and also the ACE program here at Chandler Gilbert. So hello, everybody.
Thank you for joining us, and we welcome you back anytime.
Thank you.
Next on our list, we have Jamie.
Hello, everybody. Jamie Lee Destinshia. Can you tune in do nata? I'm sorry. Torchini, Bashichin do nata touching dash Che, Tabaha dash Chanela, Kienta Edenasha. So I am from Kienta, Arizona. I work currently am the new, my title's long. It's Native and Indigenous Student Recruiter Coordinator. And it's a new program with the ASU's Mary Lou Fulton College. So I will be presenting about this new program. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Jamie. We look forward to the presentation. Next on our list, we have Lenore.
Hello, everyone. I am with Maricopa Unified School District, and I am the liaison for the McKinney-Vento and foster care, and I have been asked by our director to participate with the program and curriculum. Academic services is where I'm housed and located. So I'm going to be stepping in and learning more about the association and be able to provide her more information to support our Native Americans in our district. And I'm sorry, my watch is going off.
Lenore, it's always wonderful to have new faces on here. So we welcome you back at any time. I look forward to having you in future meetings. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, next on our list, we have Margaret. Okay, Margaret just put in the chat. She has had technical difficulties in the past. She says, good morning, everyone. She's using a library computer that does not have access to video or audio, and I can introduce her definitely. This is Margaret Blaine, who's joining us. She actually works with me. She's my coworker here at Amphitheater Public Schools. She's our Native American advisor and tutor for the district, and so she is Tahana Atham. So thank you, Margaret, for joining with us this morning. We look forward to having you join us again. And so next we have Monique.
Hi, good morning. Yat Shea Monique Sosian Chef be between the Schlaw dot Nazatni Bashes Chin, Sinajani Dacha dot Foxotni Dashanella. Good morning, everyone. I am originally from Tuba City, but reside in Phoenix. I am the program manager for the American Research Center for Health at the Intertribal Council of Arizona.
Good to see you, Monique. Thank you for joining us. Next on our list, we have Agnes. I believe Agnes just joined us.
Boy, that was quick. So good morning, everybody. I'm Agnes Atakai, and I'm with University of Arizona with the College of Medicine and the College of Public Health. And for my Navajo brothers and sisters, Yat e Beneshe, Anakai de National Tutsoni Bashashin, Tachini Dashachera Tabadashnala, so welcome, everybody.
Thank you, Agnes. It worked out. Your name begins with A, so you went right to the top. So good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Next on our list, we have Oren.
Yat is a Oren Shepherd Inishia. Can you initially? So hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Oren Shepherd. I am a student services specialist for the American Indian Outreach for the Maricopa Community College's district office. And I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Oren. We look forward to and welcome you to come back and visit us again at all of the remaining of our meetings we have. Good to see you. Next, we have Paul.
Morning, everybody. It's great to see you and hear you and be part of this meeting. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been a longtime member on the scholarship committee, which is one of my favorite things, and we're getting to that. It's when we all reach out and ask kids and help young scholars fill out the application, represent themselves, their community, their families, and are rewarded or awarded based on merit for their future. You know, they've got a few bills to pay and we're trying to help them. It's small, but it's significant, and we help, you know, all grade levels, including college. So we're getting started on that process. It's a big deal, and it's reading these essays is one of the greatest things you will ever do. So for me, it's an honor to be part of this. Everybody, good to see you, and I'm going to go on mute.
Thank you, Paul, and especially for putting the plug in for our student scholarships. That will definitely be coming out soon. We are in preparation of our planning stages to get this coming year's scholarship out. So be on the lookout for that. And finally, we have Tia.
Yat she Tia Gramzinski Neshia, Ashihinishla, Bilagana Bashishin, Beshpich Ahadashiche, Bilagana Dashanella, Todanesha, Danasha, Ado Chandler de Keheshte. Good morning, I'm Tia. I am the Indigenous Engagement Specialist for the Chandler Unified School District. I've been here for a couple of years, and I'm on my way out to seek a new opportunity outside of the district, but I always love collaborating with Indigenous educators. So thanks for having me.
Oh, we're sad to see you leave there, Tia. You do such great work, but I know that you're going to do wonders wherever you go. So all the best to you, and hope you'll be able to still join us when you have time.
Thank you. I really appreciate collaborating with all of you, and it makes work feel easy.
Oh, yes, definitely. Well, we're all here to support each other. That's what AIEA is all about. So it's been wonderful to have you. And as mentioned, we hope you can join us in the future whenever you have time. So, all right, again, thank you everybody for joining us this morning. With that, we will move on next on our agenda. Let me get to it here. So this is just a brief general quick overview of the agenda for today. We did our welcome, our land acknowledgement that we always do, and our introductions. Next, we'll do our approval of our minutes, which I do not have just yet. So just as a heads up, we'll probably have to get those tabled till next meeting. Then we'll do our president's report, treasurer's report. We always invite our Indian education updates from the ADE office here within the state, as well as our NIEA office, if they're available to do any type of updates for us during the time. Next, we also have a special presentation, as Jamie mentioned, from the Arizona State University, based on a new program that they just recently received for the college. And so we're excited to hear all about that and ways that it can help our educators. Following the presentation, we'll go into our old business, which will be what Paul mentioned, our student scholarship information. We also have an educational webinar that we're doing. We'll provide updates on that as well. Then we'll go into our new business, which is our summer youth camp, which is coming up. We always hold this, or try to hold this, pre-COVID at least, during the summertime for all of our Native youth, which is a unique cultural camp that we provide. We'll provide more information later in the program. I'm sorry, later in the meeting. Next, we have our program share outs. And this is where if you have any events or flyers or any updates you would like to provide, we ask and encourage you to provide those in the chat for any flyers that you may have that we can pull and we can share out among our community members who are unable to be with us during the meeting. We try and get that information out to them. And this is also a time where you can just unmute yourself and share out all the wonderful things that you are doing as well. And then after that, we adjourn. And just as a reminder, our next meeting will be held on April 15th, tax day, I believe. So that's a good reminder. So with that, we will move on in our agenda, which is our approval of the minutes. And I have not received those. Lynann or Esther, have you received any of the, any type of emails for those minutes?
This is Esther. No, I have not.
I have not either.
Okay, so we will just need a motion. This is for our February 18th meeting. So I will just need a motion if we could please get those tabled to the next meeting.
This is Esther. I make a motion to table the meeting minutes until April 15th.
Okay, motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second that. This is Lynann.
Okay, Lynann second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any discussion? I'm sorry, any abstain? Motion passed. All right, thank you so much. We'll move on our agenda, which brings us to the president's report. So we have a lot of exciting things that happen with AIEA, and not only does the events and activities that we do just affect our membership, we also try and assist, just as Paul mentioned earlier, with students, financial aid for them with, even though it's not a whole lot of funding, we try and do what we can, because any funding is always a good funding for any of our students who are in college, who are receiving that higher education, not only in college, but we also provide funding for our high school students and middle school students. So this scholarship, which we'll get into, provides funding for all three categories. So with that, I did want to highlight some exciting news that we received this week. And actually that's an old slide, so it shouldn't say conference opportunities, it should say success story. I forgot to take that off, but as you can see here, if you'll just bear with me, I do want to read a little bit about this particular young lady. This young lady, her name is Stacy Etsity. She is a recipient of our 2021 and 22 AIEA Student Scholarship, and she currently works for the Navajo Nation Office of the Controller and General Accounting. She actually sent us a message letting us know that she was highlighted for her college in an article from Grand Canyon University. And in the article, which let me drop that in the chat now, GCU article. If you want to take time to read that on your own, it's a really fantastic article just highlighting her work that she did and her educational journey during her time there and what she foresees and what would like to do. But in short, the president, Jonathan Nez, had highlighted her on their social media account. And so they were able to list her clans. I'm not even going to attempt, because I'd probably mess it all up and say a different clan, but those are her clans there. She is Navajo, and her family is from Rabbit Brush, New Mexico. Stacy will graduate with her master's degree this fall, 2022, from Grand Canyon University in Public Administration. Stacy attributes her success to the teachings of her paternal grandmother, who encouraged her with the Navajo teachings of self-reliance and self-determination. Stacy's parents are Alvira Clark and Arviso Etsity Jr. She has one brother, Lyle Etsity. Her paternal grandparents are Arviso Etsity Sr. and the late Eloise Etsity. She thanks her family for being the reason she is who she is today. The Grand Canyon University has chosen Stacy to create a student testimonial focusing on her educational experiences to be televised in the Phoenix area, as well as on the GCU YouTube channel. Once we get those links, we will definitely share those out among our membership. The message that she sent to us, to AIEA, she said, "I won your scholarship and I wanted to share the great news with the scholarship that helped me continue my education. Thank you all at Arizona Indian Education Association." So we just want to congratulate her on the wonderful work that she's continuing to pursue in her educational journey. And I just wanted to highlight her today, because this is just one of many success stories that we have with our AIEA students, our AIEA youth, who are out there doing great and wonderful things and who are going to be our future leaders. And so with that, again, I did drop the article if you want to read more specifically about what DCU provided for her in the chat box. So congratulations to Stacy and her family. With that, I will eventually get to these, but I did want to highlight the Arizona Johnson OMalley Quarterly Forum. So this is a forum that is in collaboration with the National Johnson OMalley Region 1 representative, which I currently sit as, and we started this forum in January. It was a really great discussion that we had among all of our JOM contractors. And it's a space where we can share out best practices, not only best practices, but any barriers or challenges that we each face within our programs, and have the discussion and find solutions to any of those barriers and challenges we face. And so with that, it's also also a time where we can collectively be able to document any support needs with our National Johnson OMalley Association and the Bureau of Indian Education. It also provides an opportunity to collaborate and a unified, consistent, and support structure for our Arizona Indigenous students. So again, as mentioned, this will be held quarterly. Our next session will be held April 28th. Again, this is geared toward all of our JOM contractors, but all stakeholders in Indian education are welcome to attend. And so we just ask that you just share this information out among your staff members or in your community. Parents are always welcome to be invited, as well as tribal officials or leaders or representatives who would like to sit in and hear the discussion, as well as provide solutions to any of the challenges that we face as JOM contractors. As mentioned, it is a quarterly scheduled. The next meeting after April will be held in July 28th. And then the following meeting after that will be held in the fall on October 27th. This is held the fourth Thursday of the quarterly sessions, and they will be held from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. And that is Arizona time. And so again, we just ask that you share that out. We will be sending out an email to our JOM contractors, and just ask that you will help us share the word, spread the word for that quarterly session. Next, I wanted to highlight some listening sessions that the Office of Indian Education at the U.S. Office held recently. The U.S. Department of Education Office of Indian Education hosted 4 virtual listening sessions to listen and learn about the realities that impact Title VI, which is Part A Indian education within our community. It provided an opportunity to be heard and help the OIE identify ways that they can enhance the delivery of meaningful services to us. The 4 sessions that were held were Understanding Educational Technology Needs, Realities, and Opportunities, which was held on March 16th. The second session was Advancing the Interagency Memorandum of Agreement on Native Languages, Promising Practices, and Persistent Barriers, which was held the following day on March 17th. And then this past week, we had Identifying Social, Emotional, and Mental Health Needs, Realities, and Needs, which was held on March 21st. And then Aligning Indian Parent Committee Needs to Efficient and Effective Support, Learning from Vetted Practices to Resolve Barriers, which was held on March 22nd. So these were 4 listening sessions. I was able to participate in 2 of the 4. But at each session, there was a lot of discussion, great discussion, a lot of comments of all the challenges that, again, for Title VI recipients of what they face in the work that they do. And the OIE, the Office of Indian Education, allowed that space for all of who wanted to comment or share out any of those challenges or barriers they faced to those who were listening in on these sessions. And it was really nice in how they had it. They had the questions, we provided our feedback. And in the end, right before we ended the session, the moderator for the Office of Indian Education actually came back on and provided feedback of what they heard just from that particular listening session. These sessions were recorded. They are still accepting written comments. Written comments can be transmitted via email to Indian Education to their email. I will just drop this in the chat down here. For those of you who are interested in providing more feedback, we weren't allotted a whole lot of time for those of you who were on the listening sessions. We did have a timer, which was like a ticking time bomb. You had to really get your information out before the timer ran out. And so that was a little bit nerve wracking considering it was a national discussion we were having. But Esther or Lynann or anyone else who was on the call, if you would like to share out during our program share outs on this particular time, feel free to do so. As mentioned, it's always encouraging to hear from other colleagues on what they face, because we all go through similar circumstances and barriers that we face. And so it was nice to hear their comments and to seek those solutions to what works for other programs may work for your program. And so again, that was the listening sessions that were held from the U.S. Office of Indian Education for Title VI. And finally, I just want to highlight some student opportunities. There are just two that I would like to highlight briefly. The first one is the Arizona Department of Education Student Advisory Councils. So the application for the Student Advisory Councils was opened up last month in February. This is for this coming year, 2022 and 2023. For specifically, we are encouraging and promoting for our students, high school students and college students, to have the opportunity to serve on our Indian Education Advisory Council. To date, as of Wednesday, this past Wednesday, there have been no applications for any students wanting to serve on our council. So we are, the application is actually remaining open. The deadline was earlier this week, but they are keeping it open for one more week. So please let your students know that their student voice is needed, and that we highly encourage them, if they are interested, to please serve on our Indian Education Advisory Council. We meet on a quarterly basis, or every 3 months, 4 months, so many meetings, but it is a chance for them to provide their voice and to share out any challenges they may face or any success stories they would like to share. We also want to hear directly from the students of what they are facing within the school systems. And so again, thank you, Esther. The link is in the chat box that Esther put up for that. The second thing I did want to highlight is for any of the students who are in grades 5 through 12, which Esther put in the chat, can apply for the Student Only Advisory Council. So we are currently looking on the IEAC for high school and college students, but any student from 5th grade to 12th grade can apply, and they can apply for the Student Advisory Council only, Students Only Advisory Council. And that is with the Superintendent of Instruction, currently Superintendent Hoffman. But please share this out. We do want applicants to come in from our students. We know that we have so many amazing, outstanding students out there who can provide that voice. So please encourage your students to apply. We will be looking at interviews within the coming weeks, and we're hoping that we can get them on there. Yes, Katie, incoming 5th graders can apply, as long as for the next school year, because this is for 2022 and 2023. So any incoming 5th graders can apply for this particular position. Excuse me. Oh, goodness, went down the wrong pipe. And as Esther mentioned, excuse me, Esther, do you mind sharing that out quickly?
Oh, Kim, if I can just take a minute while you need some time there.
Yes, yes.
Hi, this is Lynann. I actually chair the Indian Education Advisory Council, and we'd love to have student input. I meet with our current student advisors, and we have 2 high school students and 2 college students currently. And the great thing about this opportunity is that they'll be sitting in meetings with so many different leaders and stakeholders in education and Indian education in Arizona, namely Superintendent Hoffman, who is, in the highest position in our state in education. And so this is a time to have her ear. Not a lot of people get that time. And so she really does want to hear from students. We want to hear from students. There's tribal leaders, district leadership, school leadership, and then we have teachers and program coordinators. So it's a whole variety of, I guess, access to great networking contacts as well. So, and the other thing is they'll get to hear kind of the state of education as it is, any legislation that's coming up. Of course, we are an advisory council, meaning Superintendent Hoffman does, want to hear what our feedback input is on various topics as it pertains to our Native students and families. So please encourage, any students who are willing to speak their mind. We want to hear it. So thank you, Kimberly, for sharing that.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you, Lynann, for taking over. I apologize. But yes, please share. And thank you, Agnes, for wanting that information. Share the link out so that we can get students on board to help us and stand alongside us in our advocacy for Indian education for the state. And with that, next, I did want to highlight at least one student opportunity, which is a scholarship opportunity. This is the Eleanor Hazelton and Thilda Hartwig Scholarship, or for short, I've always called it the Hazelton Scholarship. The scholarship link I will put in the chat also here. And this is for students who are a member of the Arizona Indian tribe or a Montana Indian tribe. They must reside within the state of Arizona or Montana, demonstrate financial need, and plan to attend full-time an accredited public or private 2-year or 4-year college, university, technical college, vocational, trade, or professional school within the United States. This is a 1-year scholarship opportunity, and you can always reapply during, if you received it, you can always reapply again. This is the contact information that I put in the chat box here. Monique, did you want to add anything further on that?
No, that's all the information we received too.
Okay, we will share the flyer out also during an email follow-up update after the meetings, but there are tons of student opportunities out there. This is just one of many. We try and encompass as many as we can without overbearing. So we will put that out so you can see all the student opportunities in a follow-up email to in our AIEA announcements. So with that, we have any AIEA current event and activities that we provide. We encourage you to either reach out to us or look on our social media pages that we have, as well as our website. Our YouTube channel provides all of the recordings that we have. We try and keep that updated as much as possible. We're a little bit behind, but we are in the process of updating and keeping all that up there, which includes our general meeting recordings, as well as any of the webinar series that we have, as well as our cultural series, our college series, and our educational series, which focuses on our scholarship. So with that, in conclusion, AIEA does continue to create safe spaces for our membership to be heard. We will also continue to work with allies and partners to make meaningful and measurable change within our organization and society as a whole, in keeping with our mission to provide research and resources to Arizona schools for American Indian students to achieve academic excellence through culturally responsive education. And again, one more thing I just wanted to highlight before we move on. We do have a bowling team that is going to be partaking in a fun event this weekend. And very quickly, I'm going to turn it over to Esther to let her share out some information about that.
Thank you, Kim. And so as Kim has stated, we are going to be creating a bowling team. I don't know if a team of 3 is really a team, but yes, we will be a team of 3. If any of you would like to participate in the Keeping Teachers Teaching event this weekend on Sunday, March 27th from 7:30 to noon at Main Event in Tempe, please let me know. I will put my email in the chat here, so you can email me that you would like to join our team. Currently, we have Jerry, Lynann, and myself who are going to be attending. So please, if you would like to come and network with other educators K through 12 in it's all educators and also Indigenous educators as well. So we will be joining that this coming Sunday. If you'd like to join us, please email me and let me know your shirt size so we can all be together. You don't have to be an avid bowler or a professional, but there are professional teams out there. So, but it'd be great to have you join AIEA's bowling team. So I will put my email here and just follow up with me. Yes, we could use your bowling skills. And I don't think there's bumpers, so I don't think we're bringing home the trophy this year, but we could always try.
You never know, Esther, we might be number one.
True.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And finally, just to very quickly highlight what you see on your screen are just conference opportunities that are upcoming this year. The first one is our National Johnson O'Malley Association Conference. National Conference will take place in Las Vegas, Nevada this year, September 19th through the 21st. We will send that information out for the conference links and everything that they provide as well. It will take place at the Flamingo in Las Vegas, so make preparations to be there. Secondly, we have our National Indian Education Association Conference, which will take place October 5th through the 8th in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. There is a save the date currently. Whenever we get more information regarding that, we will definitely know and provide that to our membership as well. So once again, I just want to say thank you for your time. And for those who are here attending our general meeting today, we look forward to seeing you again. And with that, are there any questions? Okay, I don't see any hands or any comments, so we can move forward. Again, Esther did put that information about our bowling team. So in the chat, please sign up if you have time. With that, we will move on to next item on our agenda is the treasurer's report. So at this time, I am going to turn it over to our vice president. We have two officers that are currently not able to be with us today. And one of them is our treasurer, Travis Lane, but he did provide a report. And secondly is our secretary, Jerry Thomas, who was unable to be with us today as well. And so at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our Vice President Esther to share out our treasurer's report.
Thank you again, Kim. I will try to do justice for Travis, who is currently out. So for the month of March, IETCA account, the February expenses include charges made to clerical and postage to process payment for the Protect Our Land Camp speakers. The total expense in February are $66.91. The total expenses is $47,488.75. Total revenue is $18,595.37, which gives us a variance of a total of $28,893.38. And that is for the ITCA account. For the Desert Financial account, which is a checking, we have expenses to Kevin Bellin for $50, Kenneth Harvey Jr. for $100, Louise Liston for $100, Alan Paxson for $100, Fred Rowland for $50, which brings a total of $400 for the expenses. We have revenue, we have zero. Our current balance is $2,763.81. In the savings, we currently have $35,618.27. We currently do not have any funds in our Venmo account. And that is our expenses for February for the ITCA account and Desert Financial. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Are there any questions? Okay, if there are none, we can move on in our agenda. Next on the agenda is our Indian education update. Sami I do not see her on here today, but we do have the chairperson with us of our Indian Education Advisory Council. So Lynann, if you don't mind just sharing out a little bit of any updates you may have, if anything, just for our IEAC.
Sure. I mean, I think the most recent update would be just the announcement for the student applications, that extension. That was, and I was actually just going in to see when our next meeting was so that I can share that with everybody as well. Let me see. Apologies, I was looking for that and then I stopped looking.
While she's doing that, just total support. Any young person you know that might be capable, please reach out and ask them to apply for this. This is top level stuff, but it's also supported and it's a learning experience. You basically attend a few meetings each year, and on your resume, if you're going to college, it says that you were the student representative for the Arizona Department of Education, Indian Education Advisory Council. It's very powerful stuff. It's also coincident with this. They can come here and meet and greet. There are plenty of kids that like Stuco, the student council. There are plenty of kids that do everything. They're in rodeo, they do all the things, and anybody at any age gets to participate. So if you know anyone, please have them apply, because this is the beginning of a long road, and it's supported, it's important, and we must have it for our kids. So I just endorse it.
Thank you, Paul. That's exactly correct. And just to add to that, there are no letters of recommendation that are required. This is a wonderful example to put on a scholarship application. So our own organization, association, is going to be offering a scholarship. That's an excellent highlight point of participating in the Native American community, and on any community is great. So it's free, it's minimal time, and I too have students who I have been approaching as well. So just do your best to advocate for the Arizona Department of Ed Advisory Council. Thank you.
So the invitation has not come out for the next meeting yet, but if you are on the council, you should be receiving that via email from Sophia. We do meet quarterly, which should be coming up in around May, June timeframe. And so, like I said, if you are on that listserv, you'll be receiving that. Otherwise, I believe ADE is still, to my knowledge, has the position open for the Deputy Associate Superintendent position. If you guys know different, then you can certainly correct me. But that basically is to head up and be and to oversee the Office of Indian Education at the state level. And so that position I know was also being advertised as well. So those, and then I also encourage you to join the policies. We'll come to you, Paul. I also encourage you to join the policies and programs updates for Indigenous stakeholders. That is an incredibly informative meeting or presentations that are held once a month, and they are on Mondays. And so either I can, or Esther, if you can share maybe the link or the email address to sign up for that. I think it's just Sami's email address to be added to that listserv. I know we just had one last week, but they are monthly. So I do encourage you to sign up for those as well. And I think that's it for me. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you, Lynann. Yes, the policy and program updates are held every third Monday of the month. And so we highly encourage you, as Lynann mentioned, there's a lot of significant resourceful information that is shared out during those times. And so if you get the opportunity, please join in on one of the sessions at least and help us with that. But I did want to also mention just a couple of things in regard from the Office of Indian Education. and trying to do my best also, in addition to what Lynann mentioned, that they will be hosting a FAFSA and college application assistance, which will be held on April 8th from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. ADE, along with the Arizona FAFSA Challenges, Ask Benji, College Depot, Earn to Learn, and Be a Leader Foundation will host an Arizona Spring Training event. The FAFSA and college application workshops will be hosted along with informative breakout sessions. Counselors and educators are encouraged to register. So we'll get that information and send that out to you as well. In addition, for those who are in the school districts, you may have received an announcement from Superintendent Hoffman that there are classroom supplies funding that was available to educators. This was announced by Superintendent Hoffman. ADE is ready to provide $1,000 in funding to help educators get classroom supplies to keep students safe, learning, and cared for this school year for the upcoming school year. Funding is limited, so I'm not sure if there is any funding left or available, but if you have the opportunity to just please apply, we can always utilize the funds. I know many educators are just out of pocket and personal funds, but Superintendent Hoffman is providing these funds available to educators in the classrooms. And so those are just a couple of the extras that I had. As mentioned, Lynann did mention about the the Deputy Associate Superintendent position still being open. And we are looking forward to the person who will be in there to help us further our advocacy. So with that, thank you, Lynann, Esther, and Paul for that information.
Kim, I was just going to see if Paul really did have a question about that.
Okay, sure. Paul, did you have a question?
No, you guys covered it. I know that's an extremely critical position and that it's difficult to navigate, but I would like with these scholarships, we need great leadership, and this is a chance to be somebody willing to take it on. I'm looking at 5 people I could see that would be great at it, but wow, I'm sorry for Serena.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job in advocating for us. And so we were sad to see her leave, but we look forward to working with the person who will be in there. And as I mentioned, to just continue the advocacy for our Native students. So thank you, Paul. We always welcome your and enjoy your comments in addition to ours. So with that, we will move on to our NIEA. And I do not see Joaquin joined us today. So very quickly, let me see if I can pull up some of their information from NIEA. I do want to mention that they just recently had their what they call the Hill Week, which is a time where they go and advocate at Washington, D.C. to legislators on behalf of Indian education. That took place, this recently on March 15th through the 17th. In Washington, D.C. I was unable to attend during that time, and I'm not sure if any of our AIEA members had the opportunity to attend as well, but there's always a great advocacy that takes place during that time. They advocate on many issues, and one of them is about the Indian education. And so I know that took place just recently. They also sent out just a notice that NIEA welcomed Department of Education Secretary Miguel Cordona to the Hill Week. He was the one of the speakers during that time. He is the U.S. Secretary of Education, and so they just highlighted him as one of the speakers during the Hill Week session during that time. And so again, with their upcoming conference that will take place in October. I really don't have too much more on NIEA. Usually Joaquin does a fantastic job of updating us about all the legislation and information that they have going on, but we will get an update from him, and we will also send that out with any announcements in a follow-up email for that. And just very quickly, Agnes, if you want to share out anything before you leave, or did she already hop off? I think she already hopped off. But in the chat, she did mention that they are recruiting high school and college students for virtual medical school pre-admission workshops in April. She's attached a flyer and just asking to share with the students. We'll get that flyer and information out and share that out again in a AIEA announcements update. So with that, are there any questions?
Kim,
Yes.
it's Esther. I was able to attend several sessions during Hill Week. You'd like to give me an update?
Yes.
I mean,
please
if you'd
do.
like me to give
Yes,
the update.
yes, please do.
Okay, so the first meeting that I attended, the informational session and panel discussion, was regarding, one second, had to pull up my notes, was the Native American Teacher Education Pathway Act. And I know this is something that we all have been asking for in regards to giving more support to Native American students and those who are becoming Native American educators who are wanting to become teachers. And so there was a discussion. Some of the participants on here were Valerie Shirley and Jeremy Garcia from U of A, Kevin Shendo, who is from HEMA's Pueblo Department of Ed, Leslie Harper, National Coalition of Native American Language School and Programs, and then also Lance Twitchell, who is from Alaska Native Languages. And then I am going to not do the best job. Kanan Inahue Makaimoku, who is from University of Hawaii. And so this panel discussed the highlights and the need for Native American educators in the classroom and what they're doing, each of their programs are doing to increase pathways and openings for our Native American educators and what is needed in the classroom. And so this is a panel discussion which is taken to the Congress, and they listen to these and take points and highlight effective programs to help support this Teacher Education Pathway Act. And so they discuss some of the languages and the barriers, how so, you know, in the past languages were forbidden, and there was complete hostility in the classrooms during our past, and that, you know, critical Indigenous consciousness is always there, even growing up in this day and age. And so it's going to take a lot of positivity to move our Native American educators forward and unteach the recolonization of the past years. So this is something that they're looking forward to. And as a matter of fact, today we have our guest speaker who will be coming up shortly to discuss one of the opportunities here in Arizona. And then another panel discussion and informational session was the continuation of Indigenous languages in the classrooms, and what does that look like for tribal education and being able to implement those, and then also at public schools like mine, and how to move forward on implementing Indigenous education. And so some of the programs were explaining some of those challenges and also the success of the students and what that looks like for them. So one of the speakers was really positive, and she grew up learning her native language from kindergarten, and then now she's in the classroom as well. So she's supporting and giving back to her community. And so I'm always on board to listen to what's happening on nationally. So we have the Teacher Education Pathway Act, and also continuing to support the Indigenous Language Act as well. So those are the two that I participated in and were able to listen. It was great to see a couple familiar faces in there by attending AIEA conferences and getting to know some of the board members and being involved there. So that's my small update for today.
Thank you so much, Esther. I appreciate that. I did attend, now that you mentioned, I did attend virtually one session, which was with the ACT community, but my notes are actually on my computer at home because it was during spring break, but we'll get that information out in a follow-up email. But thank you for that, Esther. Appreciate it. Are there any questions? All right, if there are none, then we will move on to the next item on our agenda, which is our special presentation. And Jamie, do you need sharing privileges?
Yes.
Let me do this. I will stop share. Okay, you should be able to now.
Okay, let me. Okay, let me do that. Oops. So good morning, everybody, or good afternoon now. So as I mentioned, this new program has just been finalized in October of last year. So let's just get started. This is a new position for me. I've been with ASU for 6 years as a student success and retention coordinator with the American Indians and Support Services. And I transitioned to another department within ASU, Mayor Lou Fulton's Teachers College as a recruiter. So the program that's brand new is called Preparing Educators for Arizona's Indian Community, known as PEAK. So what this program is to what it is calling to do for our Native communities is to get students who have received their associate's degree to become teachers. And they have two programs that it's geared towards. So based on, I want to say everybody knows what the Mayor report is, so I don't need to rehash what that is. The need for teachers is important, and this is why we're here. And I guess to benefit our students, culturally responsive teachers who will assist our students in Indian country. So right now, let me see. So I guess the response to what we're trying to serve as our students and the need to get more educators, because as far as from what I'm aware of, our teachers don't really stay at in Indian communities that long. They stay for a year and end up leaving. So this is to prepare them to go in to become teachers and serve those communities as well. So the United States Department of Education and the Arizona Department of Education program they'll prepare certified teachers to teach in tribal lands, or I'm sorry, this thing's in the way, in schools that serve a high proportion of Native American students. They're also offering like extended kin networking nano courses to help educators who are unfamiliar with cultural practices of the tribes. So with this program, participants will receive, like I mentioned, a BAE or a BAS in early childhood education, or a BAE in special education and elementary education. And with these courses, they are accessible online and remote classes. And with this program, it's funded, it's a fully funded scholarship for participants. And it's geared towards non-Native Americans as well. And there's actually two funds. This grant actually funds for federal funds. With this grant, you would have to be a tribal member. And then with the Arizona Department of Education, it's still the same grants where they will fund educators who are non-Native Americans, but give them the same tools and I guess cultural practices and teachings to go into any communities to teach as well. But this program is paid for 2 years, tuition fees, books, a loan laptop for 2 years for them, and help them get to be certified teachers. The payback is they would have to serve a community of a high, like I said, like I mentioned with the previous slide, a community that's in the Indian country with a high proportion of American Indians for 2 years. So I guess, and the only drawback with this online program is there's individuals back within their homelands or their reservation don't have high-speed internet. So this is problematic for them. As long as they have high internet, they could access their classes. So we're trying to recruit students to enroll for fall of 2021, fall 2022, sorry. And the courses are four courses for 7.5 weeks online courses semesters. So participants will spend up to 20 hours a week to complete each course. So the payback expectations for this program is for them to teach after graduation. And those are more specific details to the programming, whether it's a federal or state funding from this grant. So this is the second part to the grant is they have nano classes. So this is like a community educators nano courses, which is they're trying to make a bridge between those individuals that are not aware of, you know, the language, the culture. They're trying to get them into knowing like what's important to the people around who they're serving. So trying to make a bridge to what's appropriate, what's, you know, not teach Columbus Day, no Thanksgiving, like what's the relevance, what's the importance of that. So just small things like that. Just to prepare the, I guess basically to prepare community members to support children all ages of learning. Then this one is open to tribal members and non-tribal members that just want, I want to say this is to get some credit, but they're still working on they're still on this process with the nano courses. It's still in development. I did ask questions, but it's still in development with the courses. But most likely they'll be online as well. So with this, next steps to apply would be, you know, just reaching out to myself, the recruiter, applying to ASU and selecting a program, submitting FAFSA. Even though a student does not receive FAFSA and need federal funds or, you know, scholarships or loans, it doesn't really, as long as they applied for a FAFSA and they don't get nothing, it doesn't really matter because they will still get their funds. Everything will be paid for. And thank you. I just went through this really fast. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you, Jamie, for providing that presentation for us. I know it's a lot to try and get the information out, but we sincerely appreciate you being here and sharing out about the program that you provide. So with that, are there any questions that you have about the program since we have Jamie on here with us? From anybody?
Jamie, hi, it's Esther.
Hi,
Is
Esther.
hi, is this information that you can come and present or present virtually to students who are seniors? Is that something that you do?
So it's geared towards transfer students who already have their associate's degree. So it's not towards high schoolers, seniors. So it's geared towards students who already have their associate's degree, so that it will pay those 2 years to their junior and senior year, and then they become certified teachers.
Okay, fabulous. And then would you mind typing in your email into the chat and your contact information so people can get
Yeah.
that? All right, thank
I
you.
will put in my calendar link, which if you need to set up a Zoom meeting or appointment with me, that would probably be best. Stop sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm nervous. It's like, it's what is it? It's already, the PowerPoint's already made. They're like present, and I'm like, okay. Still very new, so I'm sorry. I'm just nervous. I went through very fast.
Thank you, Jamie. You did a great job.
Yes, great job, Jamie, on doing the presentation. Like I said, it's a lot of information, and with you just now coming in on board with learning about the program and what it all provides, trying to get the information out there. You did a fantastic job in sharing out for us, and so thank you for that. And again, her contact information will be in the chat, and if you want to schedule a time to talk more about the program with her, please feel free to do so. She put her contact information in the chat box there. And so we're looking forward and excited to see where the program will lead. So we'll definitely get the word out among our students and our educators for this opportunity for them. So thank you again. And if you have any flyers or updates from the program in the future, please feel free to send them to us, and we'll definitely share those out as well. Even more importantly, if you're able to join us during our monthly meetings, we welcome you to be a part of us as well. So
yeah, certainly invite me. I'll be here.
Okay, yes, definitely. We will make sure Lynann get your email address and we will put you on our email list so that way you can receive updates about any events or activities that we have here. So, all right. Any other questions for Jamie? All right, if there are none, again, thank you, Jamie, for this presentation. This is being recorded, so in case you missed any information during the presentation, you can always go back and review it on our YouTube page. And we did drop that link in previously in our chat box there, but we will again send this out to our membership. So thank you again, Jamie, for being here with us and for providing a presentation. All right. Next item on our agenda is our old business, which is our first item is our AIEA student scholarship. And so I am going to turn it over to Esther to provide a little bit of updates about our student scholarship. She has also been a part of our student scholarship review committee. And so we're excited to get it going. So Esther.
Thank you, Kim. And then also thank you to Paul. We've had a couple previews throughout this meeting today. So for the 2022-23 AIE Student Scholarship, the wonderful bullet points here. Thank you, Kim. So there are 3 different areas in which we provide funding for each of the levels, which is middle school, high school, and college or university. Wonderful. And some of these awards are for 7th Generation Award for $150, which goes directly to the student. And that's something that often doesn't happen. So they get their own check, they get to cash that and apply it to wherever they would choose. We would love them to choose an area that will help their academics. The high school award is $400. And then the college university award is $700. And so the areas that we look at, we have 3 different ones. One is academics. So, however, with these applications, they will need a cumulative GPA of a 2.0 or above. However, with the academic portion, we are looking for students who are exemplary in that area, who have great grades, who are can contribute to the community. And then we have the AIEA Exemplary Award, and then also make a difference. So some of these are in specific areas. So if you are trying to make a difference in community, but do not have a straight 4.0 or a 4.2, it is okay to apply for those other scholarships as well. And then so we want our students to participate in this. The junior high and middle school students have not participated as much as we wanted to in the past. So we're really going to push districts to reach out to our junior high and middle school students, letting them know this award is out there. And so, being a part of the advisory council or being on STUCO or any of these other committees or youth council. These are all wonderful opportunities for our students to participate in, or maybe they run a club at their school or participate in a club. It means that they're active and that they're trying to do something, that they're trying to make a difference at their school or in their community and with other students at school. So there are different areas in which students would need to turn in along with the application. It's 2 letters of recommendation, an essay, double point, 12 font, a curriculum vitae or resume, proof of tribal enrollment from a federally recognized tribe, and then school transcripts that they are currently enrolled in an Arizona school or college. And that's one we often get applications for from out of state. However, we are Arizona Indian Education, and so our grants go to Arizona students. And then for college and university students, that would be a copy of the enrollment verification. So we will have this application available before the school year is out. So they have an opportunity to go to that office or go to, for students to go to the, get copy of their transcripts and letter of recommendations. So they can reach out to students, they can reach out to mentors or teachers or administrators to ask them to write them a letter. So when that time comes for when we open and start accepting scholarships, they will have those pieces for them. And so we are asking for you to help us out and to join our committee in reviewing these applications. Some of the application checklist points that I mentioned here, we do have the AIEA Student Scholarship Webinar Series. We have 1 meeting left. We may have 1 more depending upon the need, but that is listed here as you see. The next one is April 15th. We have one today, this afternoon, and then April 15th. There are wonderful giveaways during this time, so they may win a gift card if they attend. And then we have Dr. Amanda Cheremiah, who is leading these different webinars and helping out with this portion. Oh, I see, thank you. As you see here, there are different dates, and so the resume and cover letter has already taken place. And then one of the portions is how to write a personal statement. What does that look like? What's it involved? How long should it be? What main points should be in that so you are chosen? So it sparks interest in reviewers like myself and Paul and Jerry, and then several others as well. So we're definitely looking at this year at putting this committee together. Ms. Jerry Thomas is the coordinator for this. So if you would like to join this committee, please email Jerry and let her know that you would like to help out. We haven't rolled out the scholarship yet, but it's coming soon. So please beware, check your emails, and then we can share that to our students all the way from middle school to college. Are there any questions regarding the scholarship? Or Paul, if you would like to put in your ideas or opinions on reading some of these applications.
Thank you, Esther. Look, this is the best part of our work. We get to know great young scholars, athletes, leaders. We get to help them, and we welcome them in formally. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So anybody who thinks of anyone or wants to read some of these, it's tremendous, great stuff, Esther. And so thanks for the opportunity to say how much it means to me to be a part of it. It's really important.
You're right, Paul. It is a blessing to read what our students are doing at such a young age. Think about when I was back in school, I was like, wow, there's so much going on with these students that they're already in the community and out there and presenting their strengths. So yeah, it is a blessing to read the applications. Are there any questions regarding the webinar series or the scholarships? All right, I don't see any hands or any questions in the chat. So back to you, Kim. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Esther, for sharing out about our scholarship and as well as our educational series. I do want to mention, as she mentioned, that excuse me, the next session will actually take place today. So it's going to take place this evening at 5 o'clock. I did put the flyer. I'm hoping that's the right flyer in the chat box for you. We also did send that out with our meeting notice. So please get this out to your students. We do require a registration in advance for each session for the students to participate. And the reason is, just as Esther mentioned, we're giving away door prizes or giveaway prizes during this time. And it's open to every participant that participates in these webinar sessions. So again, please help us spread the word about our educational webinar series. And so with that, if there are no questions, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is our new business. And with this, we have our Protecting Our Land Summer Youth Camp. And so very quickly, I'll review over this. We are in the process of planning this summer camp. We are looking at alternatives, methods, and how we can make this happen. The past couple of years, we haven't held it due to the pandemic. And in lieu of that, we've held a virtual winter camp, which actually this past year in January was our most recent youth camp that we've held. But we're looking at what the summer camp may look like for this summer. Usually we have our summer camps in mid-July to late July to accommodate student summer recess as well as district returns back to school. During that time, we do have a few school districts who return earlier during July, but it's an opportunity to get their students on board to attend our summer camp. And so we've had different themes throughout the past year so that we've held the camp. I think the very first theme that we held was in relation to protecting our land and our environment. And with that, the students who attended the first camp held in 2017 focused on creating a policy statement. This environmental policy statement was supported by the Tribal Southwest Environmental Center, I think that's what it's called, but they actually passed a resolution in support of that particular policy statement that our youth created at our camp. And with what they learned during this unique cultural camp is about how to take care of our land. And so that's what our summer camp really focuses towards. Our youth camps in general, both our summer and winter camps, focus toward protecting our land as Indigenous stewardship. What does that mean? How can we help take care of what we consider our mother Earth? We take care of her, she takes care of us. So that reciprocal relationship that we have that's being provided. During those times, we invite our elders to be a part of it, to share out traditional stories or traditional teachings to our students. And it's a time where our students can learn how to do cultural arts and crafts or cultural activities that they do with the elders, and the elders provide feedback and hear and listen to what the students are expressing and how they share out about what they are learning throughout the week. So it's a wonderful and it's a very unique camp that we are providing. We do focus on leadership skills where we have college mentors. So we also have college students that participate, and each group, we give them a group of students that they oversee and providing leadership and guidance throughout the days of the camp that we have. And so we also invite different presenters from different colleges or different professions that provide unique presentations to our students from a cultural perspective about taking care of the environment and the land. And even from a traditional perspective, for instance, during our winter camp, we had Miss Lois Liston, who is a Tohono O'odham elder. She shared about how they do the saguaro harvesting every summer and the significance behind that. She shared the songs, the stories, the traditions unique to the Tohono O'odham people. And so those are the types of presentations that we provide to our students. Our students come from a diverse variety of tribes that attend our camps. And so we want to help them learn from a cultural perspective, no matter what tribe they are from, that it's a time for us to come together and to learn and to share, have that cultural sharing time during these unique summer camps. So a little bit about what we do, but in particular, as I mentioned, we are looking ahead. We are seeking out anybody who would like to volunteer to join on this committee to help us plan for this. So we are calling for camp committee members. If you are interested, the contact is there. Who is our secretary? She's our camp coordinator, Ms. Jerry Thomas. Her email and phone number is there if you are interested in joining us and planning for these unique summer or youth camps that we have for our youth. They will eventually be bi-monthly meetings where we coordinate presenters and volunteers. We exchange ideas, the contacts. We try and get a lot of variety of our tribal colleges and universities involved. In the past, we've had the University of Arizona, the Arizona State University, as well as Northern Arizona University be a part of us. We've also had student representatives who are our college mentors from Pima Community College, from Mesa Community College, and from ASU, from the Tri-State Universities as well. So we try and get a diverse volunteers to assist us during this time. We are hoping eventually we'll get some volunteers from TOCC or from our tribal colleges, San Carlos or Dene College, to participate and to share and help us guide, provide that guidance for our students. So if you know of anybody who may be interested, as mentioned, we are seeking college mentors, elders, presenters to do presentations during the time, and volunteers to help us coordinate with creating these student packets. In addition, if you know of any colleges or school districts even who would like to provide and donate items that we can put into the student packets, we welcome that as well. So again, if you're willing to volunteer to help us put together this unique cultural camp, please reach out to us. We would love to have you be a part of us and to share your ideas of how we can make it even more unique for our students. And so with that, are there any questions, or does any of our, we are looking tentatively, as I mentioned, we do have in the past, we've held our summer camp in late July, usually the 3rd or 4th week, depending on schedules, but it's usually held during that time. We don't want to conflict with any other summer activities that are happening, summer camps that other Native organizations may be having, or even school districts, if they have different camps during the time. We try and accommodate to the least amount of conflict as possible. We know we can't just altogether have it as our weekend or our week or our days, but we do look at the calendars for everybody who's a part of it that we can think of, and to try and accommodate a date scheduled. In the past, we've held our camp for up to 3 days, actually up to 4 days. The winter camps have been down to 2 days, 2 to 3 days. So it just varies on how much participation we can get and how many presenters and mentors and elders we can get to participate, and for how long. So it just depends, but it's usually at the end of July, usually the 3rd week of July is what we look at. And it's usually held either on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Again, it just depends on the conflicting schedules that we may have at the time. And so with that, any other questions? Well, we're excited. We ask you to join us. Please help us and come and volunteer with us so we can see what exciting activities we can create for our students. And so with that, we will move on to our program share out. So this is a time where attendees who are in the meeting can share out any updates about your program, any upcoming events you may have, any flyers that you have. Please feel free to share in the chat. We do grab those before the meeting ends, so that way we can also share those out among our members who are not here. And so with that, I am going to turn it over and I am going to mute myself, and feel free to jump in and share out anything you would like to share.
I guess I can go. So on March 31st, so let me turn on my camera. On March 31st, the Native American Men Conference is going to be taking place from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Let me put the flyer in the chat so you guys can see. It's this one here. Yeah, so we have it planned. Next week on the 31st from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. We invited 2 guest speakers to come by. Their names are Anthony Johnson and Dr. James Makokis. So they'll be giving a talk, kind of talking about their experience with exclusion throughout their academic journeys, throughout their careers as well. They're going to be talking about experiences that they faced being members of the LGBTQ plus community, empowerment, and many different topics that a lot of Native American men are not really informed about. So they'll be talking about those things. And yeah, so you guys are more than welcome. The registration link, I can drop that in the chat box as well. And yeah, it's open to all the students, all the staffs, all age groups. And yeah, that's that's pretty much all I got.
Thank you, Oren. We will definitely get that information out to our membership for those who may not be on the meeting today. And thank you for sharing that out. I think it's really needed for to help encourage our young men out there. So it's wonderful to see that that's happening and continuing on. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And the link is in the chat for registration.
Okay, we will pull that. All right, anyone else?
This is Katie. I guess just kind of just giving an update on our program. We have a high Philippine teacher population. So we planned this years back, but it just never came. It just never came around with the pandemic. So as we slowly come out of it, we have scheduled a Philippine teacher cultural presentation night. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what the teachers have put together. I think they said they have like their native folklore program chairs. They have a presentation about the Philippine history. They have their food from there and a dance and song I believe they're going to share. So we're pretty excited about that. And in May, we are ending our parent meetings with guest speaker Albert Pooley, the founder of the Native American Fatherhood and Families Association. So I'm pretty excited for that. So other than that, we're just trudging along, trying to come out of the pandemic, trying to recruit parents to come to our meetings too.
Thank you, Katie. It's always great to see you, and it's been a while, so we thank you for joining us today, but thank you for sharing that information out. I think that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing any updates about the teacher presentation night. I think that's wonderful and look forward to hearing about that. So thank you for sharing that. All right, anybody else?
I always want to see what you guys are doing before I go. Well, I'm with Mesa Public Schools Native Program, and we support our students in many different areas. But one of the highlight portions I want to share right now, and I put it on my Facebook, but we're supporting the Arizona House Bill 2705, and that is for our students to be able to wear traditional regalia to graduation. And so we have been hosting ribbon skirt making classes. I am a seamstress and so is my coworker. So we've had students coming through as well as their parents and siblings. Our first class, we hosted quite a few people. Our room was full and there's a waiting list. So we're in rotation right now. We are able to use our grant funds to promote culture and, you know, in celebration of their promotion and graduation, federal funds for that. So we provide all the materials and sewing machines and everything that they need. And so we've had quite a few ribbon skirts, and one that I shared yesterday was this third grader. She made her ribbon skirt and took 3 sessions to make it. And every time she'd come back and she's like, look how far I've gotten. Look what I've done this time. And so last night she ran into our room and she had this huge smile on her. And she's like, look what I did. And I sewed the pockets. And she shared that one of her pockets was too small. So she has to just put change in it and you barely put her fingers in. But, you know, that is what our program's about. It's bringing those smiles. It's celebrating our students who are being successful and helping our students and encouraging them. I went to one of the high schools last week and our girls wore their ribbon skirts to school. They all had matching ones. They wore them to school without any event, without being prompted to wear regalia that day. It was their pride in who they are and in their culture, and they wanted to share that with their students just by sharing. And then if you get more than one, you get that support among each other. And this is what it's all about. Yeah, he called me up and was like, hey, guess what? I've got girls wearing ribbon skirts. What's going on today? I'm like, I don't know. Let me find out. Nothing is going on. They're just happy to share their Indigenous culture. And that was a wonderful surprise. And so coming up, we do have, as well as the skirt making classes, I do those. So if you need me to come, I'm willing to do that. You can always email me. We also have a Warriors Path conference coming up. We usually host around between 300 and 400 students. For that, it's in district. However, because of COVID, and I planned it way back, we only have about 150. We are including parents this time too. It's at the end of April 22nd, and being hosted by Maricopa Community College, Mesa over here. We have several community partners who are attending that, and that is a time to come together as students and let them see other students at other schools and realize that they are not alone. And that's often what we hear about, is like, I'm alone. I'm the only Native here at my school. Oh no, honey, that is not true. You have hundreds at your school. So they need to know that they're supported and who their mentors are, and definitely the community as well. And then we have our senior celebrations. We have lots of seniors this year. We have 196. And then we bring people in the community. We're gonna break it up into 2 different high schools. And this is the time where they get to celebrate, they get their certificates. They'll also be able to receive their feather that they can wear on their graduation cap for graduation. And I think that's also a prideful piece for our students. They like to sign up last minute with our program so they can get the feather, but that's okay as long as they're provided for. So that's just a couple of things that we're working on. Those are big items, but it's always good to have fun and try to balance out what we do with our students and get ideas from you guys as well. And so with that, I've also created a community organization and association called VNECA, VNECA. And that is specifically for Johnson OMalley education coordinators. We meet quarterly and we discuss some of the events that are coming up with ADE, what we heard at some of our programs, some ideas, throwing it out there, asking questions. I know one of the questions was, we have testing coming up. what are some ways that we can encourage our Native American students culturally when they're starting their testing, or what can be used? What are some theories, or what are some examples we can give them to take with them into their testing sessions and be confident and successful? So that's something that we'll be discussing. I will be emailing out the agenda and the web link for that. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll put my email in there again, and so I'll try to respond to you as much as possible. So sorry, but I do like others to go first. So if you have any questions or ideas or anything, just please give me a call. I'm always open and welcome.
Thank you, Esther. Mesa Public Schools does an awesome job with their students. So thank you for the work that you do and for providing that pathway for them. Also for the parents, the families and the parents, you do great work. So thank you for that and for sharing now. Okay, anybody else?
Hi, I might have missed this, but for Agnes Adakai, I didn't see her flyer for the medical school pre-admission. She mentioned that she would put it in the chat, but maybe I missed it.
Okay, I can reshare that. Let me make sure I grabbed it.
Okay.
I think it was just a picture of it. It wasn't the file, but let me double check to make sure I have it, and I can reshare it in the chat also. We can also share it out for, well, I'm not able to see it. I will get that flyer from her, and I will share that out to our membership. So be sure to put your email in the chat, Carrie Ann, so that way we have you on our list, and that way you'll get the information also. So thank you.
Oh, great. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to share out?
Hi, Kim, this is Lynann. Just from Phoenix Union High School District, we are still providing vaccinations on all of our large campuses, and also free COVID testing as well. And so I'll just put our district website in the chat. I'm also going to share a document that I put together for our students and parents, and I just call it the Student Opportunities Document. So anything that we ever get from ADE or US Department of Education, or any flyers, announcements that people share with me, any scholarships, anything like that, I just put it all in a document. So I'm just going to share that with everybody because I think that it's important for for us to be sharing this information, and just ignore my staff contact information on the first page, but everything after that can be used. And so I'm going to go ahead and just put that in the chat, and you can, I'll go ahead and put my email in case anybody has questions as well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Lynann. Anybody else?
This isn't really a program share out, but I just kind of wanted to announce we're pretty happy about it. Our current superintendent, Jennifer Plath, is retiring at the end of June. And we had our superintendent interview process, and they have selected our new superintendent, Miss Lynann Yanez. She is our current high school principal, and she is White Mountain Apache. So pretty proud about that.
That's always wonderful news. So it's always great to see one of our own in those leadership positions. So congratulations to you, Katie, and the program there and the school district there. That's wonderful to hear. So. Okay, so very quickly, just with our program here, we are actually going to be in talks about, we are still in a virtual, well, we're in person and virtual as well. And so for our after school program, we are looking at having a virtual program for our students for the remaining of the semester. So our virtual after school program is called Native Wisdom Seekers, which is done specifically by our department here with the Amphitheater Public Schools. And so we usually try and highlight and encourage our students that we are still here today, that we aren't relics of the past, and that we do have great leaders who are Native Americans that are out there doing wonderful things for our people, including persons like Deb Holland, Sharice Davids, Winona LaDuke, and Billy Mills, people and persons who are actual leaders today and are making a difference. So we really highlight that and emphasize that, as well as teaching cultural history in regard to the Tohono O'odham and Pascua Yaqui, which is the area that we reside in. And so we're looking and excited to get that started for our school district. And we're hoping we'll have more participation. Normally in the past, when it was in person, just due to lack of funding for transportation, we were only able to provide the after-school program to selected elementary schools and middle schools within our area. But we're hoping with the virtual setting, we can actually open that up to all of our middle schools and elementary schools within our district. And so we're looking forward to that. And again, we're actually in the talks of planning that out of what that will look like. So we're excited to see that, as well as just staying busy with everything else, as as everybody else has mentioned, with our end of the year ceremony that will be coming up in May. We're looking forward to celebrating all of our graduating Native American seniors and our 8th grade promotees. And we're looking at a time where we can possibly come together and fellowship and enjoy each other and celebrate our students in that way with the student gifts that we provide for our students. As Esther mentioned, with the wonderful gifts that she provides for her students, we provide student stoles for our students as well. And we also encourage them to wear their regalia with pride during their graduation. It is a big milestone and accomplishment in their life that we significantly honor for our students. And so with that, we're looking forward to planning and getting that together. In addition, just a heads up, we are looking at bringing back our powwow for our district, which will take place in the fall. We're hoping things will work out for the better, that we can actually have that in person. And so we're pretty excited about that. So we're looking to see how that will look. And we will definitely share that information out once that becomes available. And just very quickly, I was a judge this past weekend for the Miss Native American here at the University of Arizona. And so I just wanted to highlight and congratulate the young ladies who participated. There were 3 contestants. And the new Miss Native American University of Arizona is Cassandra Perez. And she is from the White Mountain Apache tribe. And she did a fantastic job, as well as all the other contestants that did. First attendant is Miss Nadira Mitchell, who is actually Agnes's daughter. She is the first attendant for Miss Native American University. She did an excellent presentation in regard to environmental injustice, and that was her platform for that. And then the second, the ambassador, what they call the Miss Native American ambassador, is Danica So, who is of Navajo Nation. And her presentation, her cultural presentation, was about making the morning breakfast cornmeal. And so that it was really nice and interesting to hear how she did that, and all the presentations and what they provided and how they presented was very encouraging to see our youth and our young ladies out there making a difference and making that stand and sharing their cultural experiences with the students and having that visibility within the university setting. And so it was really nice to see the support that came out during that time, and to see the amazing works that these young ladies are continuing to do. So just a congratulations to all the 3 young ladies who were a part of that. And it was such an honor to be a judge sitting among so many prestigious colleagues that were there with me. And so with that, if there are no other share outs, then we can go ahead and adjourn. But before we do, our next meeting, as mentioned, will be held on April 15th, and that will be from, it'll start at 11 o'clock with that. And I'm not sure what I did here. And there's our contact information. If you have any agenda items that you would like to see on the agenda, or any type of presentations you would like to see, please feel free to share out with us. We are open to seeing what other items you would like to see during our meetings. Again, there's our social media information. So please follow us on social media so that we can get the word out, and as well as our website information, our email, and our YouTube page. As mentioned, our YouTube page does have our videos and all the recordings that we have provided. We try and keep that updated as well. And so with that, I believe that is the last slide. So are there any other questions or comments before we adjourn? If there are none, I just want to again say thank you, thank you, thank you for being with us. I appreciate your patience for bearing with us this entire time through the meeting, and we welcome you to come back and visit with us and to share out the great and wonderful events and activities that you're doing with your program also. So with that, I would like to call for a motion to adjourn.
This is Esther. I call for a motion to adjourn the meeting at 12:51.
Awesome. Motion on the floor. Is there a second?
This is Katie. I second.
Katie is seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Of course not. Abstain? No way. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Great to see your faces. We look forward to seeing you April 15th. Take care and have a good one.